Hey guys, we are here at the SAW Open Disc Golf Tournament here at Winter Farms in Brantford, Ontario. And I'm joined by Patrick from Peace Bridge Disc Golf. Patrick, how you doing?
Very good, Jeff. Thanks for coming out today. We've got 150 odd people out here, friends of us, Peace Bridge, and friends of the Winter family, out to start the road to the provincial championships this fall.
Okay, and why don't you tell us a little bit more about how you got involved with disc golf and what your whole foundation is about?
Yeah, so I started playing disc golf about 3 years ago before the pandemic, and then over COVID, started getting into planning some events for when we all came back, and it's basically been a mix of giving back locally and planning to do the United Nations Sustainable Development disc golf program, where we will spread disc golf in other countries as well.
Okay, and do you know how many countries currently it's in?
There's very, very few. I'd say maybe around 20 or 30 potentially. So we want to get those numbers up and make disc golf more affordable for developing countries to build tourism communities around disc golf.
Okay, so other than what we just talked about, what goes on day in and day out at the Peace Bridge Foundation?
Peace Bridge uses a lot of the proceeds from our events towards youth and women outreach, getting more women and youth in the sport. We also fund course repairs, and we build courses as well, and we run the Disc Golf Days group event program, where corporate parties and staff parties and team parties can learn to disc golf, and they get to keep their disc at the end of the day too.
Oh yeah, it'd be a great team building exercise.
Yeah.
To get people out and playing together. Yeah, it sounds like an awesome time.
Exactly. And thank you to the Brant Disc Golf Club, who's taking on the project of the official qualifying tournaments for the provincial championships in November, and for helping host the provincial championships as well at all three of those courses. They're stepping up in a big way.
That's awesome. Just tell us a little bit more about how many golf courses there are, maybe in the area or in and around Brantford. I know you'd mentioned there were a few in Cambridge and Guelph. Just let us know where some of these other courses are.
Yeah, so Winter Farms has 36 holes here, and will be one of the 3 courses partaking in the provincial championships in the fall.
Yeah.
Then there's a course in the public Mohawk Park in Brantford and one in Paris as well. They'll all be in the championships. And then in all of Ontario, there's around 100 or so, but you look at places in the United States and they are just absolutely covered. So it's a goal for all of these disc golf companies in the region to bring more courses to Ontario in general.
Well, yeah, that's exciting. So how can people get involved? What's the best way to sort of help grow, some awareness with this? How can businesses and people get involved?
Well, businesses, first of all, can always help sponsor events and donate to clubs that are running. As the clubs start running up, more new players will get introduced to the sport. So passing a disc along to someone if you're already a disc golfer, or just tagging along and finding out what the sport's all about in your community. You can look on UDisc, the app, and you can find all of the courses that are listed near you, and that's completely free to everybody.
Okay, so what I'll do is I'll put all of this information down below so you guys can see and check it out. And Patrick, again, thank you for allowing us to come interview you and let us know a little bit more about disc golf. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having you guys out.
Yeah, thanks.
Hi, my name is Nahan Faye, and I got into disc golf 3 years ago in the winter, just the tail end of the pandemic, and there wasn't much to do, and I went to a local park in Etobicoke and saw some other people throwing this disc, and I was like, what's going on? And told me about it, and I thought it was a kid's game at first. I heard about it like years ago, and it was a lot of fun. They showed me kind of a few tips, and couldn't stop. So haven't stopped playing, and what I love about it, I think the community, like just meeting those people, and then they gave me a bunch of discs to start, like gave me a whole bag of discs and said, come back next week, and so trusting and so willing to help. I still think that community is what brings us here today, so that's great. And then just being outside in the woods and kind of hacking around. And yeah, my best advice for anyone who's starting, definitely start with, you don't do the drivers, start with lighter discs. And don't worry about getting a par. Like that's okay. You don't need to get birdies every time. And you will get better. You will get better. I promise you. It'll take a few steps back at first, but then you'll get better. Nose down. That means keep your nose angled down in your disc. so that it doesn't pop up in the wind. And that's my advice for you.